Good morning. On behalf of the East Long Meadow Fire Department and the Department of Fire Services, thank you for joining us this morning. My name is Paul Morissette, Fire Chief for the town of East Long Meadow, and it's my honor to be the MC hosted in this very important speaking program. Last year in Massachusetts, nearly half of all residential fire deaths took place between March and April. Our message this morning is simple: smoke and carbon monoxide alarms save lives. You'll hear from several fire chiefs in the next few minutes to expand on that message. To get us started, I'd like to call up Vice President of the Western Mass Fire Chiefs Association, Westfield Fire Chief Pat Egloff. There was a slight change in the program for those of you who have their written program.
Thank you, Chief. So why are we here? Sadly, about 30% of last year's residential fire deaths took place here in Western Mass. The Western Massachusetts Fire Chiefs Association represents more than 100 communities west of Worcester. Our members serve large urban centers, small rural towns, and everything in between. But no matter where we work, we all agree on one thing: working smoke and CO alarms are vital, life-saving tools. They belong in every home, apartment, rooming house, and dorm. We're realistic. We know that there will be fires as long as people are cooking, heating their homes, smoking, and using electricity. But we also know that almost every fire death can be prevented if residents install, test, and maintain their smoke alarms. Smoke alarms alert you to the danger and give you time to escape safely, especially in the overnight hours when you're sleeping. The sooner you know about the danger, the faster you can escape. And the sooner we're notified, the faster we can be there to help. So if you take just one message from today's event, let it be this: be sure you have working smoke alarms at home. They're your family's first line of defense against a fire. Now, to give us a more detailed look at the scope of the problem, I'd like to call up a former Western Mass Chief, State Fire Marshal John Davin.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Chief. It's great to be back in Western Mass to share this important message this morning. So simply put, smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms save lives. Be sure to get outside as soon as you hear the alarm. We have carefully reviewed the recent data from fatal fires and have noticed some trends. A total of 45 people lost their lives to fire in Massachusetts last year, and nearly 70% of those deaths took place in the home. 2/3 of those fire victims were older adults aged 65 and up. And tragically, more than half of those homes that had fatal fires did not have working smoke alarms. Our fire investigators found smoke alarms disabled, outdated, or altogether missing. Please take it from the experts gathered here today to be sure you have working smoke alarms on every level of your home. Our next speaker can attest to the urgent importance of working smoke alarms. Please welcome Springfield Fire Commissioner B.J. Calvin.
Thank you, Marshal Davin. As you mentioned, tragedies happen and can occur in homes where older adults are present. In the early morning hours of March 30th, 2023, the Springfield Fire Department was called to a structure fire. Our first call of the fire came from passers-by who saw a well-involved house with heavy fire showing on two sides. Upon arrival, we received reports of elderly people trapped in the residence. We made entry, knocked down the fire, and found two elderly adults who never made it out of their bed. The subsequent investigation showed that there was no smoke detectors present in the house. Of the 45 deaths that Marshal Davin mentioned, 5 of those happened in the city of Springfield. 80% of those had no smoke detectors present in the house. So out of the 5 deaths, 4 had no smoke detectors present in their homes. This is a tragedy that could have been averted and needs to stop. Fires break out all the time, day and night, but they're most likely to be fatal in the overnight hours. All of the fatal fires in the city of Springfield happen between midnight and 8 in the morning. Please don't spend a single night in your home without a working smoke detector. To talk a little bit more about this, I'd like to welcome East Hampton Fire Chief Christopher Norris to the podium. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you, Commissioner. Every spring and fall, we ask folks to check their alarms when they change their clocks. This is because smoke alarms are just like any other appliance. They don't last forever. But if you don't have to wait until daylight savings time to check these alarms, if you don't remember when you installed your smoke alarms, take a look today. The manufacturing date is printed on the back of the device. Smoke alarms should be replaced every 10 years. If your alarm was made before February 2014, or if there's no date at all, it's time to replace it. We recommend alarms made by well-known national brands. If you can't find these, you should be able to find most of these at your local hardware stores. Choose photoelectric alarms that have a sealed, long-life battery and a hush feature. This will reduce the chances of someone disabling the alarm if you burn your toast or if someone needs batteries for the remote control. If you're buying online, please be careful. Unfortunately, we've seen no-name alarms sold on Amazon and other sites that are not reliable. They haven't been tested by an independent lab like UL or Intertech, and they don't meet the state fire code. Remember, if the price seems too good to be true, then it probably is. If your alarms are still in their useful lifespan and take alkaline batteries, be sure to change the batteries twice a year when you check your clocks and change your clocks. Finally, no matter what kind of alarm you have, test them every month to be sure you and the people you care for are protected. We hope your alarms never activate because of a fire. But to talk a little bit more about what you should do if it does, I'd like to ask Chicopee Fire Chief Daniel Stamborski to come to the podium.
Thanks, Chief. Good morning, everyone. As you've heard this morning, smoke alarms are your first line of defense against the fire at home. But everyone in your family should know what to do and where to go when they hear that alarm actually go off. That's where home escape planning comes in. First and foremost, take a look around your house, not just once in a while, but on the daily basis. Be sure to keep furniture and clutter away from your doors, windows, and stairways. You don't want anything blocking your way in during an emergency. And when we respond to your home, you certainly don't want to impede our access to get to you or get to the emergency. Then sit down with your family and plan your escape route in case you have to leave quickly. Look for two or more ways out of the building if you can. Remember that one of these ways out might be your window if you're on a lower floor. And plan around your family's needs. Young children, older adults, and people with disabilities might need help getting outside. Pick a family meeting place once you are outside in front of the building. This should be a safe distance away where everyone can gather. Once you're at the meeting place, never go back inside, not for anything. Call 911 and let the firefighters enter with their protective equipment. Once you've planned your route, practice it. Try running the route during the day, try running it at night also, so it becomes a habit and muscle memory even when it's in the dark. Finally, remember that sleeping with your bedroom door closed is the simplest way to keep fire, smoke, and carbon monoxide out. You'd be amazed how much protection a simple closed door offers. Always try to get out safely when the smoke alarm sounds, but if you're trapped inside, keep that door closed, call 911, and shout to firefighters from your window. Now, we've talked a lot about smoke alarms today, but carbon monoxide is another hazard that we all have to be prepared for. To talk about CO, I'd like to welcome Wilbraham Fire Chief Michael Andrews.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning. Carbon monoxide, or CO, is a poisonous gas created by burning fuel. The most common source is home heating equipment. CO is harmful and potentially fatal, especially to young children and older adults. Carbon monoxide poisoning is one of the leading causes of accidental poisoning deaths in the country. Here in Massachusetts, more than 350 people end up in the emergency room each year because of CO poisoning. What makes CO so dangerous is that we can't see it, smell it, or taste it. Carbon monoxide is a silent, invisible killer. Only carbon monoxide alarm can detect CO. We carry these as firefighters, and statewide we detected carbon monoxide at about 5,000 runs last year. Almost all of these calls came in because someone's alarm was going off, and they ended safely. So we have a few CO safety messages today. First, be sure you have working CO alarms on every level of your home, test them every month, and change the batteries twice a year. Second, these alarms eventually need to be replaced, usually every 5, 7, or 10 years. Check the manufacturer's instructions or look up the make and model online to find out. And finally, if you hear them going off, get outside and dial 911. Don't disable them or write them off as a malfunction. Let us check with our meters to tell you that it's safe. Tragically, 3 people died of apparent CO poisoning in the Nahant earlier this year. Don't let this happen to you or someone you love. Be sure you have working smoke and CO alarms on every level of your home. Our last speaker today represents one of our most valued allies on the civilian side of public safety. The Red Cross has partnered with countless communities to install smoke and CO alarms across the country. Please welcome Disaster Program Manager Mary Nathan.
Thank you, Chief. The Red Cross is honored to partner with the fire services in promoting fire safety and education in the installation of life-saving alarms. Our mission is to alleviate human suffering in the face of disaster, and the best way to do that starts with prevention. We are called to respond to fire scenes on average 140 times in Western Mass alone, to care for families and individuals who have suffered terrible loss that often could have been prevented or at least mitigated by working smoke alarms and an escape plan. We echo all of the great advice shared this morning and will continue to educate and make homes safer through our preparedness programs and partnerships with the local fire departments. We'll bring Chief Morissette back.
Thank you, Mary. And thank you to all our friends in the media for covering this important event. Your coverage is one of the most effective ways to help get these safety messages out to the communities that we represent. Let's not wait until tragedy strikes. Let's reach everyone who lives, works, and goes to school in Western Mass with this urgent message. Smoke and CO alarms save lives. In the room behind you and in front of you, you have industry experts. That's not fire chiefs in the room. There's a lot of fire prevention officers. There's public fire and life safety educators in the room. And public information officers from many different departments. We are available to try and answer any of your questions you may have, any of your concerns. And again, thank you for coming, and thanks to all the chiefs that participated today up here and the ones that are here helping us support this very strong message. Thank you.